Ready Couture, obviously you're here at a great event. Why don't you talk about reasons why you're here and the support that you continue to give back to wrestlers throughout the world?
Well, this is our 10th year doing the border brawl, and David Mercatani, Ron and Jan Mercatani, obviously longtime friends from wrestling and from my days as a wrestler. Dave came up with this idea to take the best wrestlers from the state of Missouri, match them up against the best wrestlers on the 5 bordering states. That's where the name Border Brawl comes from. So we have some of the best high school wrestlers in a 6-state region competing here. We try to team it up with the NCAA championships because it gives those college coaches a chance to come see some pretty good wrestlers and some pretty good athletes in an unofficial capacity. It also coupled my foundation, the Extreme Couture GI Foundation, with this event to raise some, not only awareness, but some of the ticket sales will go towards my foundation, taking the financial pressure off of some of our men and women that have been wounded in combat. So it works on a couple levels in a lot of different ways. And our 10th year doing it this year in Kansas City. I think this is our 2nd or 3rd time doing it here in Kansas City. It's always a great event. St. Pills High School here hosting us this year. Some great, I think we have 20 or 22 matches tonight from the little kids, the women, all the way up through to the high school men's division. So it's going to be a lot of great matches.
So talk about a little bit of the women's side of it. You know, it wasn't always like that deep of a class, and it's something that you've been, you know, instilling, you know, for, you know.
It's been really, really interesting to see the United States and the wrestling community embrace women's wrestling, and that wasn't always the case. I wrestled for Sunkist Kids, Tricia Saunders, some of the best, you know, Williams, some of the best female wrestlers that we've produced before there was actually women's wrestling at the national and international stage. Now, full metal sport, 36 colleges with women's wrestling and scholarship programs. The fastest growing sport in our country right now is women's wrestling. So exciting to see some of these young girls get to ply their wares here in front of some of those college coaches on a nice stage and a nice platform. It's been amazing to watch. We could get into Title IX. I don't really want to open that can of worms, but it's closely related to everything that's going on, certainly in women's athletics and women's wrestling.
And you know, when you talk about like, you know, these, you know, college coaches coming here and seeing these athletes, like, you know, you're potentially changing people's lives. Like, what does that mean to you that, you know, you're holding an event like this and you get to help them and these coaches, you know, before the NCAAs can kind of see these kids and be like, you know what, I really like them in person. I like their attitude.
It's always about exposure. I got no exposure as a high school kid. I was a one-time state champ out of Washington. And no real love or scholarships or any kind of offers like that. Ultimately led me to the Army. And then in the Army, I found my feet. I gained the confidence that I could compete on the national and international stage. Now all these college coaches are like, oh my God, where did this kid come from? So we're giving these kids a platform and an opportunity to show their wares, show their attitude, their aptitude for wrestling, their, you know, everything that goes into being a good athlete in this sport. And they get to see it here in a relaxed setting in near their hometowns, and these college coaches are already here. So it works on a lot of levels. Get these kids some exposure and show exactly what they're all about and what the sport of wrestling means to them.